Hi everyone, I am so thrilled to be sharing with you guys what I have been working so hard on. It's something that drastically changed my life, and I'm just really excited at the possibilities of what it could do for other people's lives. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope you enjoy it. Pretty much all of us at some point in our lives experience a moment, and it's a moment that causes us to reflect or reevaluate who we are or where we're going in our lives. This particular type of moment can come about through a million different ways, and it varies from person to person. Some people might experience this moment when they feel like they've hit rock bottom or are at an all-time low in their life. Or maybe your moment came after surviving a life-threatening accident. The circumstances for how these moments come about are not always so scary and extreme. Something as simple as hearing a song or even just seeing a quote on Instagram can be enough to cause your moment. Or maybe your moment happens after struggling with your weight for the better half of your life, and when you get on the scale, the number that you see just devastates you. Your moment could even come about by reading a book that has a profound effect on you. Whatever the catalyst is for you, that moment, it causes this undeniable feeling that change is about to happen. Whether it's to change your career, your relationships, your eating habits, you're ready. And you're more ready than you've ever been. And you start to get really excited about all of the possibilities that this new you could possess. So you get started. You go grocery shopping for healthy foods, and then you go home and you meal prep for the whole week. Or you take that book that had such an impact on you and you go through it and you highlight and underline all of those parts that you found to be so inspiring. And then you put that book front and center on your bookshelf and promise yourself that you'll flip through it at least once a week. If it was a song that caused your moment, you download it or you go out and you buy the CD. You memorize the lyrics, you listen to it on repeat, and that quote that you saw online that really resonated with you in a way that most things don't, maybe you take a screenshot of it or you pin it to your Pinterest wall. We do these things because we all genuinely have the best of intentions to make a positive life change. We want to be better versions of ourselves. We want to live happier, more meaningful lives. We want to reap the benefits of living our best life, but we get lost in the process. And that eventually leads to us abandoning our vision. And that's what happens when we get off track with our diet and exercise. And 2 days of not working out turns into 2 weeks. And you get discouraged and you have a really hard time remembering why you were even doing this in the first place. The book never moves from that spot on the shelf, and it slowly starts to collect dust. That CD gets scratched somewhere along the way, and it ends up being tossed into the back of a cabinet somewhere. That quote stays buried in your phone, and it never sees the light of day. These are things that have happened to all of us, and it's definitely happened to me more than once. And that was really the driving force that made me want to take a closer look at why I wasn't able to complete some of my goals and ambitions. I wanted to know, where did that inspiration and motivation go? How could I feel so strongly about something one day and then not the next? The first, most obvious answer I came up with was life happens. Kids, careers, marriages, finances, the list goes on and on. But despite all of these daily life challenges that so many of us struggle with, I felt like there still had to be a way where we could bottle up and preserve those positive and motivational feelings. It was really important for me to figure this out because I knew that those feelings, those positive feelings that at times can feel so fleeting, contain the ability to lead us to such greatness within our lives. And I think greatness is something that we're all capable of. We just need to be shown how to get there. And that is what led me in making my first vision board. I started by printing off every quote that I had ever seen on Facebook or Instagram that inspired me to do better or be better. These were quotes or sayings that reminded me of the person that I wanted to be and the kind of day that I wanted to have. These were quotes that really helped me to put things in perspective when I needed it most. So I took those quotes and glued them to a piece of poster board that I had decorated with scrapbooking paper. I eventually added paper flowers and gemstones to the boards because I had read somewhere that vision boards have a better success rate when they're beautifully put together, so you're more naturally inclined to look at it. So I finished making my first vision board. I made my husband hang it up on our bedroom wall, and I read it at least twice a day, every day. More often than not when I was brushing my teeth or putting my moisturizer on. And I noticed the benefits of doing this almost immediately. If I found myself obsessing about something that I knew was silly or out of my control, I read my board. When I found myself hating my husband and not being able to stand my kids, I read my board. When I was stressed out or overwhelmed, I read my board. Reading the quotes that I have on my board that say things like, feelings are visitors, let them come and let them go. Or was it really a bad day? Or was it a bad 5 minutes that you milked all day? Another one of my personal favorites that always seems to apply to me is be as gentle with yourself as you are with other people. There is just always something on my board that gets me off that hamster wheel that's constantly spinning in my head. For me, my vision board is like having a really good friend that gives the best pep talks and always knows the right thing to say. It reminds me of what's really important, and by doing that, it drastically reduces the amount of time that I waste worrying, analyzing, or criticizing myself. It was during the process of creating these boards that I really started to understand the power and the importance behind our thoughts. I think a lot of us feel like our thoughts are just a part of who we are, and it never occurs to us to try to change them. Our thoughts have a significant impact on how we view our lives. The biggest reason that it is so important to be aware and intentional with our thoughts is because the quality of our thoughts determine the quality of our lives. And there are some really wonderful sayings to support this theory, like, what you think about, you bring about. And if you don't use your mind, it will use you. So the vision board almost acts as a gatekeeper for your mind, and it will help you in being intentional with your thoughts. And when you're intentional with your thoughts, they're less likely to get away from us or be used against us. So many of us live in reaction to the things that happen to us or around us, and that takes our power away and ultimately turns us into a victim of our circumstances. You don't want to start your day by not being mindful of your thoughts. If you leave your thoughts up to chance, what you're really saying is that you're leaving your quality of life up to chance. And nobody really wants to risk rolling the dice to determine their quality of life. The last thing that I want to talk about is making sure that when you start this journey, that you have patience and compassion with yourself. Changing the way we view people and situations is no easy task, and it's usually not something that comes naturally to most of us. You've thought the way you've thought for a very long time, maybe even so long that you don't even think it's possible to think any other way. But please know that you are not your thoughts. They are separate from you, and they can be altered. If we can just start the process of being self-aware and intentional with our thoughts and use the help of our vision boards, we can change the narrative of our internal dialogue, which would then change the trajectory of our entire lives. And how amazing would that be? So if what Earl Nightingale said was true, and we become what we think about, let's start being mindful of our old thoughts and work really, really hard on replacing them with new ones that benefit our lives in a more positive way.